sing. But then I used to take efforts to make my class more interesting, more entertaining, more edutaining, and again the so-called saw in what you call in the Bloom's taxonomy about the three patterns of affective, cognitive, and psychomotor abilities. Again, and I was very new as a teacher 30 years back. And after that 120 minutes, again, interestingly, the class used to be like this, but the door for the students used to from the back side. So after that 160 minutes, one girl used to come wearing heels, which was very unlikely for a girl of the medical college to wear the high heels. And she used to enter my class, tuck, 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 tuck. And for a new teacher who was handsome and who was experimenting with the pedagogy of teaching, again, don't read between the lines. So the interesting case was she used to come after that 160 minutes in that 20 minutes module, and she used to sit in one class. I will change her name. And I said, Preeti, you are late only by 160 minutes. She used to look at me, used to give me a very dirty look for complete 1 second. And she used to say, sir, you are very boring. I cannot bear you more than 20 minutes, and that is the reason I come 160 minutes late in your class. A teacher who was experimenting, a teacher who wanted to understand how to make the class more informative, that was a very big academic culturally shock for me. And then again, as a novice teacher with no wisdom here, sir, again I did chop her to pieces. I gave her bad internals. I did see to it that how she will be exposed to the difficulty of the questions. And then again, I was more curious to understand how I can humiliate her. But over the years of these 32 years, I have realized teaching is not the experiment to be conducted on the template where we have to fill the formats either of the CBSE or the AICT, where the teaching plan is being produced by someone, prepared by someone, and we as a templates machine, we have to just execute the same pattern. So in this module of mine, in the small discussion, I will be more interested to the dialogue with you. छोड़ घोंसला बहार आया, छोड़ घोंसला बहार आया, देखे डाले देखे पात, और पत्ते जो करते हिलमिल करते हैं आपस में बात, माँ क्या मुझको उड़ना आया, नहीं चुरुंगन तू भरमाया. छोड़ घोंसला बाहर आया, देखी डाले देखे पात, और पत्ते जो करते हिलमिल करते हैं आपस में बात, माँ क्या मुझको उड़ना आया, nahi churungan tu bharmaya. So just because you have the typical tag of the BA degree with you, or might be in my engineering curriculum, they have done their master's program and then they have done their PhD, are they entitled to be the teachers? And then again in this basic changing dynamics, we will be more curious to understand what role of the human factor will play in this changing pedagogy of teaching, not in the NEP 2020, but again for the years to come. Ame khalam sancharatam ghananam chaya madassa anugatam nishevya udvejitam vrushti virashrayante shrungani yakshani tapavanti siddha. So all of you, when I say you are committed teachers, fundamental question remains, what exactly we are going to explore in this lab called life, lab called personal life, and lab called template of the objectivity of education profession I am least interested. So in today's kaleidoscope of my topic, I will be not focusing on CBSE. I will be not focusing on the Bloom's taxonomy. I will be not speaking about the teaching learning pedagogy. I will not speak about the PO and the COs. But then we will be more interested to understand about this man as a woman as a teacher, what is being expected. Are they expecting too much out of us? And if they are expecting too much out of us, is it going to kill our teaching instinct or the teaching abilities, what we will be aiming for? Friends, to know the exact nature of human behavior is like painting an ocean. With currents and undercurrents, seas and gulfs, thousands of islands and millions of fishes. So even in this particular auditorium of the 200 people, even though I am addressing this one audience, all of you have different personalities, different idiosyncrasies, different eating habits, different food patterns, different ability to understand, to pursue your education per se. Sa vidya ya vimuktaye, yoga karmasu kaushalyam. These are not the typical jargons just to follow when we go for a teaching. But again, let me tell you, I will not name the school. I work with NIT as a teacher like you. I only teach engineering students. One of the boy from the school of the 4th standard, he kissed another boy. And the case was referred to me by the ethical committee of the particular school, because they said that this is our school counselors will not like to go for this particular pattern. So can you go for the hypnosis for a particular boy? This was something unethical for a boy for the fourth standard. We never wanted to understand the layers of the typical sexuality and the precarious puberty. But the mandate by CBSE to have the self-help group for the kids who are not attuned with the binary dynamics and the fourth standard, all rubbish. But then in this case, when the boy was referred to me, the boy and his mother came, and with the typical SOP, we just wanted to understand what must have happened. There was no need for me to pass a value judgment, and again, it was as easy or it was any other case. The boy looked at me. The boy was in fourth standard. He looked at me. He said, "Sir, छोड़ दो ना, गलती हो गई, आपको भी मालूम है. आप हमारे होटल में आइए, जिंदगी भर आपको मुफ्त में खाना खिलाएंगे." The boy in fourth standard, and again, it was not a typical cultural shock, and I was very sure the mother was very timid, she was very scared, she was very God-fearing, she must have not tutored the boy. But the boy of fourth standard was exposed to that type of dynamics where he knew the importance of the typical recognized role as a stakeholder, where he realized that yes, the counselor can also be managed. And that was the pattern where I realized, again, I teach in engineering colleges, and you know, like the students, the way they will look at me, and I work for the ministry, so I don't work only for my institute. I go to many institutes, irrespective of the domain areas, from hotel management to MBA program to eugenics to cryogenics to that of choreography also. And the interesting part is, students all the time, they know that they are the stakeholders. If in case, might be if you catch them going for some indulging so-called the typical non-appropriate behavior during exam, they will just look at you. "Sir, do you know what you are doing?" They will look at me. Gone are the days of the students coming to the I am very happy that again till 10th standard when the students are there with the schools, they are very happy, vibrant, ready to spread the wings. But when these students come to engineering college, I don't know the other colleges, but across India, these students from the 7th standard, they have learned only how to bubble their JEE paper at Sri Chaitanya and Narayana or other typical institutes. So most of the time, the students by the time when they come, last year, we had to install mirrors in the classrooms. Like, you know, police stations, there is a mirror, no? Maza Galvesh theek hai na. So that mirror was because we found that out of that 650 students, 188 students had their weight was 100 plus. These students whose chronological age was 17, their weight was 100 plus, not interested for any other activity, not that they were only playing PUBG or the Counter-Strike, but the case was they have learned to bubble the JEE paper, and then here they have realized that life exists, and again they have come to us because they have missed the bus of IITs. They have missed the bus of the NIT Warangal, NIT Trichy, so they were here. And so 4 years in engineering education, these students were just pushing or pulling the so-called pattern of completing assignments. Now, the changes are not very different at the educational pattern in the school also. Gone are the days like when we said, like the teachers were committed, teachers were dedicated, teachers took interest. But then I was talking to Mukta ma'am while coming. I was conducting a workshop of the CBSE teacher school in Hyderabad. And when the management left, the school teacher said, "Do you know, sir, what is the tagline of our school?" I said, "What?" "We also teach." The tagline of the school was "We also teach."